Good evening, everyone out there in speed gaming land, and welcome to another edition of the Super Metroid Randomizer League Season 4 playoffs. We are in the quarterfinals, and this will be Game 4 of I Only Know How to Superjump versus the Chicago Bullies. The Bullies have a 2-1 advantage. We are having Glove versus Simo, and today, my name is DJ Webb. I will be bringing you this race along with my co-commentator, Kip. How's it going?
It's going really well, DJ. I am very excited to be here. Chozo full area vanilla bosses is actually one of my all-time favorite combination of modes. I think it is really, really good for racing, and it's very interesting. In fact, I've got to do my team's game 4 of this exact combination on Wednesday, so I've been running a ton of seeds the last several days to get ready, and I'm really excited to see how these two runners approach the mode. This is a very exciting matchup too. Glove versus Simo, two really strong competitive runners with a lot of success recently on the scene, and two really good teams. I feel like this is a really awesome second round matchup. So yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree. I want to say, has Glove lost yet this season? Because I know their team only lost to your team, and Glove didn't play that week. And then I know Glove won her first match this week, and I know they swept last week. So yeah, if I'm correct, Glove is undefeated right now.
Yeah, I haven't really been keeping up with it super closely. I've mainly just been paying attention to the people that I have to play. But oh yeah, also is it? I actually don't know if people were being serious or not. If it was Simo's birthday, but either way.
The super jumpers have had this little I don't know, gift thing in the last 3 races. So one of the times it may have been true, but it certainly wasn't true all of them. But happy
So,
birthday, Simo.
happy birthday. So one thing to note right away, the morphing ball is always going to be in its vanilla location in Chozo, but the next quote unquote major item, and I'm just going to say major relative to Chozo majors, the next one's actually going to be at Alpha Missiles. The two items in the ceiling E-Tank room are actually not part of the official logic. Okay, so we have missiles here at the beginning. If they were to just straight up like leave and go up, you would probably expect them to get some kind of explosive at BT. If not, it could end up being, since this is area, like a super missile to get them over to the right area. But usually people will start off by going over here and collecting these two items. And then if you spike a, what do you call it? If you spike an explosive, that's really good. Plus, if you get energy tank, it's nice too. Energy tanks are really, really big in this mode.
Yeah, Chozo obviously is it's one of the more interesting and complicated logics. I think the skill of Chozo is both knowing the logic and knowing when, where, and how to break it. Because if you just follow the logic, you might end up on a really convoluted chain that's going to take a while, especially regarding power bombs. So yeah, the denser rooms with multiple items or the more on the way stuff, definitely good places to look at.
People often, it's going to be a little bit of a nuanced conversation. People oftentimes talk about how they think Chozo is too simple. I don't really agree with that. Even on vanilla map, which I do think that one's a little more straightforward, I still think there's a lot of cool, interesting decisions in a more nuanced way in terms of racing. But in area, it's really not simple at all. Like, there are a lot of complicated things if you're talking about making decisions for time, right? It's not just about completing it, it's about doing things for time. And Chozo full area offers some pretty complex situations and there's actually a lot of kind of major decision points. So yeah, I'm curious to see how these two runners approach it. I'm hoping to learn something from them.
Yeah, I remember last year in the tournament, we didn't play this mode. We played a light area Chozo mode in that tournament, and there were a lot of things I thought I knew about Chozo that like all got completely flipped on its head in that week. Just like the way the area interacts with this, especially like I said, with the like stricter, like more narrow like item set for the logic, like stuff can be in like the wildest places. Like there were consecutive matches where like I think the Chozo power bombs were at like plasma one time, and there was another one where it was in wreck ship, but it was after like going through half of the map and hell running and all this other weird stuff. Like the ways that this thing can like throw you around the map logically, especially, is like it's completely crazy. And if the seed doesn't let you break it, like you're gonna have to be able to figure that out.
It can get very, very complicated, a lot more complicated than maybe it gets credit for. Real quick, as I mentioned earlier, because they did not get an explosive at BT, they only have one option. They're being funneled into this exact portal. So this is going to be a portal that takes them somewhere. I do actually like Glove's save, even though it ate up some time. Some of the portal situations can get a little wonky, and having a save early I don't think is ever a bad idea, so I don't disagree with the call, even though it was, a little bit time consuming. I also find it interesting that Simo skipped checking the portal up here. It turns out that they're never going to need to go back to that one. Maybe Simo will check it later. But anyway, this is where the logic wants us to go. This is going to be weird. I'm curious if we're going to get like a
I think it
power
has to
bomb
be a
here.
bomb something.
You know
No,
what?
it's
Varia was my
area?
other guess, because if they don't get a power bomb, they literally can't get back through that other portal. So this is really interesting the
Oh,
way this map is built.
my brain forgot that the supers were in logic. That's why I didn't think Very was possible. So yeah, they can do not Ice Beam without bombs or power bombs, but they can't go to Bubble Mountain.
In fact, they kind of have to. They got to check
Yeah.
Ice Beam here, and then Ice Beam will determine where they go from here. Although they need to be careful. Actually, they don't really need to be careful. They have Berry Suit. They have infinite number of attempts to get out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to assume this is probably the first explosive.
Yeah, and I was about to mention that logically you need bombs or power bombs to get out of here, but it can put them here to expect you to escape. But there's also some chance that like the other one's also available. But complicated stuff that isn't necessarily that important, and we got X-ray instead. So
yeah, so this is not a huge deal. Both players will have infinite attempts at getting that mock ball out of here. It will be required to get out because they have no other choice. Simo, though, because they skipped checking the elevator up there, I mean, it might be a while before they go back to it. Even though it's a dead portal, it would have been good information to have.
yeah, it's actually probably the exact combination of what it is the worst thing if because like Simo doesn't probably want to check it right now. You want to keep going where the seat's into you, but yeah, they're gonna do it, and this is Glove's just gonna take the lead off that. Where Simo came down here, I don't know, 10, 20 seconds ahead. Elevator rides.
Of course,
about
I
it.
will say in Simo's defense, in my last race, I took an extra elevator ride for a strategic reason, and I saw a bunch of people in chat saying they thought I was going to lose because of it. So it's probably not that big of a deal. It will depend. It was a strategic choice. It didn't work out, but I don't think it was necessarily terrible.
And yeah, I said Glove was going to take the lead, and then just barely missed out on this mock ball twice. You saw when Simo did this, they shot out the left tripper / ripper with the super missile, and that makes this easier. Glove
Yep.
is not standing all the way back because if you do, the left one will just take you away. But Glove, as I was talking and realized this, Glove doesn't have a super, so that's not an option.
True. There's a lot of nuanced discussion to talk about in terms of what actually directly leads to winning in Super Metroid Randomizer across multiple modes. One thing, I mean, there's no way around it. Super Metroid, by the nature of what it is as a vanilla game, is a heavily micro-intensive game. So the randomizer is as well. It doesn't mean that you can't get around that in some receipts, but it's always good to feel confident about some of the things you got to do. But Glove has to get a super or cannot make it into Bubble Mountain. This is going to be. I hope she gets a super from one of these Sovas. Okay, good.
Right. Perfect. Yeah. Let's see. Looks like she's also making the same check Simo did. This is a nice E-tank, one of the more infamous spots, especially early on in the scene, this cathedral missile location. But we've got Varia, so no trolley 6-tank power bomb requirements here.
Yeah. Honestly, you hate to see something like this happen, and it might turn out that it doesn't matter, but oh man, it's kind of complicated to talk about this. Like, even though I love area a lot, particularly I think Chozo area is great, but sometimes players get sort of the illusion of choice with some of these area seeds because there's more of them than you would think that actually try to funnel you a very specific way throughout most of the seed. And so if you invest a bunch of time into a strat and whiff a bunch of times and like lose 30 seconds to a minute, you're basically forfeiting the amount of time against a similar, skilled runner. You're basically forfeiting like a full check in terms of time. So Glove right now, considering that they're both being funneled in the same direction for a pretty extensive part of this opening, that repeated miss in the ice room is pretty big.
Yeah. Simo gave a little bit of that time back with the double elevator ride, as well as having a bit more trouble with right side wall jump. But yeah, as we like to talk about things, we have all of this knowledge with our bird's eye view. Neither runner knows. I mean, I don't think Glove assumes Simo didn't do the scout the same way that she did. These are two good runners, but also like frankly, everyone on these teams, they talk a lot, or pretty close and talk strats. So yeah, probably neither of them feeling super great about they're kind of micro things right now, but it's only been 10 minutes, so they feel big, probably.
Hopefully one day, it's been nice to have for the dash recall seats, the dash tracker. Hopefully one day we can get a Chozo tracker on here, because like literally like that being a reserve, that being a major item, that reserve, and the 3 energy tanks and a few of the minor items, it actually makes a big difference on some of the decisions you make. So maybe one day we'll be able to see exactly what they've picked up and what they haven't on the tracker.
Yeah, thing I always catch myself if I'm commentating a Chozo race, it's like, do they have all of the missiles and supers already? And I never know. Like right now, I'm pretty sure I can tell you they found one of each, and we did see those Chozo power bombs at speed. But like,
yeah, as far as I can remember, I think all 3 energy tanks are still out there. 1 missile, 1 super, because I think they got the power bomb at speed booster, right?
Yeah.
All right, what do we got at single chamber?
Yeah.
Is it finally Green Bren? No.
Like you were talking about with the choices or the illusion of choice, this has been one of the this is probably one of the earliest places where we've had the ability to do that. I was curious about so without bomb blocks in criteria, there's 2 Chozos we didn't do, 230 and Gauntlet. Gauntlet's still a bit inaccessible, but we do have access to 230, as well as those 2 left doors on the other side. Neither runner wants to look at those right now.
Yeah, the 230 thing is a big one. The fact that we didn't have an explosive to check 230 at the beginning. So that would have been a pretty good time to just book it back across and grab that major and check the other 2 portals. However, I certainly do not blame them for wanting to check the other 2 portals that are in here. They've collected all 4 of the majors in Norfair, and this is really an interesting seed. This is like probably the fastest Norfair clear you're going to see in a Chozo full area. But let's see what else they get. Ooh, this is an interesting spot. Ooh, okay. This is interesting without a save.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't think Simo saved, and Glove is actually doing well, no, yeah, Glove's doing Croc Door instead of this one first. So yeah, we could have very, very different things coming up here.
Surprised a little bit that Simo's checking this.
Oh, I was wrong again. Glove just wanted to go this way instead of the other way. Maybe her health was low. I'm not sure.
That was the worst item that could have been for Simo. So listen, technically, that's one, this is a little bit of a gamble play by Simo. They didn't have to play it this way. I'm not saying it's not going to work. More than likely, they're probably not going to get stuck, but it is possible. It's also possible that this is, that is not good. That is really good if if they can get through on the next portal. But if they cannot get through on the next portal, that is really, really bad. 2 dead ends in a row would be awful. Especially since Simo had a pretty sizable lead. But anyway, let's just see what happens here.
I have questions about a potential gravity jump if the door is facing the right way. Simo actually one of the runners that I would single out as having a lot of stress for getting out of that room.
Oh,
Oh,
this is okay. Technically, Simo's not dead. If this is gravity, I
and
actually think,
only gravity?
unless I'm mistaken, somebody in chat can correct me. I don't even think ice gets you out here, and I don't think high jump boots does, unless there's some kind of gravity jump like you're mentioning that I don't know about. But I don't think you can you can't gravity jump because the portals are facing two different ways.
Yeah. So Glove went and looked at Croc door and it was actually the last West Meridia door that we didn't know about. It was pre-aqueduct. So Glove has a save and is about to do the same thing Simo is doing. But oh yeah. Tracy has a good, yeah, legit. I mean, even if some item got them out of Meridia map, you still have to get all the way back to the top.
Right. So it has to be gravity here.
Yeah. Which would be insane, but it's possible. And yet, if we're both right, and Simo doesn't have a save. Simo doesn't have any save, correct? Like no ship save. They had no reason to save in Business Center because they got Varia.
Yep.
We're about to find out.
Maybe Simo made a save at bubble that we both didn't notice or something.
I'm hoping at this point.
Nope.
No.
And I don't think Simo saved at the beginning. You remember how Glove saved?
Yeah, you made that point exactly as it happened because you know these things. Oh my goodness. I'm shocked.
So Glove is gonna get information, but see, here's the problem. Like, this is, well, never mind. I'm
not gonna feel great
hesitant to
either.
I'm hesitant to call something a definitively good or bad play just because there's a lot of things to think about. But like, don't get me wrong here. Glove has a massive lead based on the save, right? However,
Right.
Glove is probably going to be forced. She's probably going to be forced to kill Kraid before she resets. So in theory, even with the save in place, if the opponent didn't do this, it's really giving back a lot of time.
Yeah, and I said this again earlier with how things were going, being like Glove has the last thing that Glove is thinking at this point, like, once she finds out this information, is that Simo didn't save and lost 15 minutes. Like, no one playing against Simo, who's incredibly skilled, was gonna think that that's the case. And Glove says no. The odds are low, like very low to be fair, but wasn't zero.
Glove, when you come back and watch this later, excellent decision to reset right there. I think most people would probably go ahead and kill Kraid and just hope to spike the gravity. But I think Glove recognizing that would be a bit of a time investment, and so she's going to just go ahead and look for the alternate path. I think she needs at this point to go back to moat, right? And like single chamber to moat, and then progress from there on the left side.
Yeah, somehow, like, all of this stuff is so, and it's funny because I was talking to Kip about a series from SGL 2021. The map of your first game in that series versus Floaters is a lot like this. Like West Meridian, Norfair, Turian, Kraid, it's all on one side of the map. The rest of the game is all on the left side of Criterion.
Yeah, people don't remind me. Game one of that series was sorry, but I played that in terms of the beginning. I played it almost perfectly and got as hard punished for it as you could possibly get. But it's okay. It's fine.
But yeah, so yeah, if I've got everything tracked correctly, so like Glove's gonna come out of here, go to moat, probably hopefully check 230. There's kind of no reason not to. And then there's two portals on the left. We haven't seen any of Green Brinstar. We haven't seen any of Red Brinstar. We haven't seen Croc. We haven't seen Ellen. We haven't seen Wreckship. And we haven't seen East Meridia. Like all of that stuff is some loop on the left side. And everything we've seen is this right side criteria loop.
Yeah, this is, I mean, look, is it impossible for Simo to come back? No. Is it, I mean, as I think Cutie mentioned in chat, yeah, Simo already knows what all the items are and can technically skip Bubble Mountain, right? But
Gotta get the power bomb, but yeah.
But technically, like, even if that was the case, they're still multiple minutes away. Like
Yeah, I think you can cut out Ice Beam because you know it's X-ray. You don't have to go to Wave because that was the reserve. Simo skipped the half of the missiles in the Blueprint room the first time after missing the D boost, but like has an E tank 5-5. You go get power bombs and you come back here. But when is Simo gonna be
listen,
back here?
I'm just
20
gonna.
minutes?
I'd like to personally invite everybody that I compete against. If you are interested in giving me a straight up just 4-minute lead at the beginning of the race, like I'm for it. I welcome that.
Yeah, all that stuff that I said, it's gonna take, I don't know, 6 minutes maybe, and then Simo also didn't do the croc or the glove saw, which is how I know about the whole West Meridia thing. We find Spazer.
This game is certainly not over. However, because I'm telling y'all, like kind of what I was talking about at the beginning, sometimes I wish that what I was referring to in the opening sequence of a thing didn't come true, because it ends up being kind of bad for the runners. But there are still a lot of ways that this could be very, very complicated. And Simo is a very, in my opinion, like smart runner when it comes to like figuring out how to like leverage variance for certain decisions. And depending on how complex the rest of this seed gets, there's definitely some things that Simo could do to potentially get some divergence. However, I would say that right now, like Glove is in such a commanding lead relative to the situation that it would take a good bit for Glove to sort of throw this away.
Yeah, and I wanted to put you on the hot seat if you saw that the gauntlet was some minor item power bombs. Do you turn around and go check gauntlet there because you probably don't want to come back to this area ever? Well, yeah, that's the question. Would you have gone to check gauntlet right there with that power bomb pickup?
The funny thing is like, I don't know, because I don't know. I can't say definitively whether that would be like the correct decision or not. One thing that you do notice though, with the way that this map is set up, specifically because of that aqueduct portal over there by the Kagos, you are about to get very far away from criteria for the rest of this seed.
Yes, you are.
We haven't even seen Red Brinstar yet. We have seen a little bit of Western Meridia, but I think at this point, there's not any more portals left in West Meridia that can be like any. Like, I think West Meridia is basically like a dead end location where you're getting Kraid and then Torian at the end, right? So basically, this seed is about to loop. If you look at the way the map is, this is why I wish, like in theory, we could actually show the map like in a 3D version on the screen. But the way this map is built, like you're getting very far away from criteria. So if charge is there, for example, at Gauntlet, and you don't check it now, you're not getting it.
You're not. And yeah, it's the other chosen mode that we've been playing in the playoffs. There's been a lot of talk about how valuable ammo is. My vanilla map opinion is that boss rando makes charge a lot harder to get, and without bosses shuffled, it's easier to like either suss out or just like say I'm gonna get it. Area throws a wrench into that I certainly haven't solved for. So what each runner thinks about charge is something we may find out depending on how they're checking things right now.
I'm expecting us to run into either gravity or high jump boot right here, or maybe in the first couple checks in Red Tower. One thing that we have not talked about yet, DJ, that I think warrants discussion very briefly is, and this is just my personal preference kind of thing. I love the strategy, the macro strategy around picking modes and stuff during these, best of 5 series. And I really, really, really got to give credit to I Only Know How to Superjump, because they did something, in my opinion, that was very strategically advanced. Ooh, there's that gravity suit. Didn't I say that a second ago? Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. They did something that was very strategically advanced. If you look at game 5 that the Bullies were scheduled in the first round, where they got to pick the mode, they stuck Eddie on it, and Eddie picked this mode. Mainly because I'm going to under the assumption that since Eddie's a relatively newer randomizer runner, he's already very, very good at the power mode, which is Chozo. I assume that might have been one of the decisions for learning this mode to go along with already knowing how to play that item loadout. Well, I only know how to super jump, pick this mode in their pick, which means that Eddie can't pick that in game 5. And so, I'm not saying that Eddie doesn't know how to play the other ones. I just think that's a very interesting strategic selection. And I'm curious to see how other teams kind of do that and meta against the people they're playing in future matchups.
Yeah, Eddie may have some more insight in the chat if he wants to divulge. He may or may not. I'm certainly not going to, make him. But yeah, like you said, the strategic element can, be very interesting, very complex. Every team has, their own set of goals and their, feelings about, which of their own players are strong and weak in certain areas, and their opponent's strengths and weaknesses as well. So I agree that the knowledge of, game 4 and 5 players in picks is, out there for all to see.
I think they would have done it anyway, but yeah.
There were two teams that had the advantage coming into this round. Actually there were three teams. Your team, Superjump, and you're playing World Cup Breast for Rupees, all swept in the first round, so there was no anything to gain knowledge from. So
right. Oh, and speaking of which, I have good news for everybody. Well, it's good news for me. I am racing our game 4 against it's a rematch against Bressingham, and we're playing this exact mode combination on Wednesday, and there is zero pressure on me to win because Mega Man 2 has already declared that I'm going to lose. Like, he even put it in the notes for the race. He said after Kip loses to Bress, I'm going to race Zost in game 5. So it's a free roll for me, baby.
yeah, decisions were certainly made. This is kind of awkward for Glove. So Newbridge, which she checked early, went out to Red Elevator. She wanted to clear Green Bridge, so she stepped out, and cleared Green Bridge, and now we're here in the middle of Red Tower. So there's both a portal and a major up there, but there's also 3 portals and a major on the other side of Red Brinstar. So that's an awkward way to, potentially need to clear this.
Big find. Here's the thing. Even if this was a blank, like let's say that Wave Beam was here or something like that, at this point, Glove doesn't know it. But if we're talking about just from the perspective of what's actually happened in this race, Glove should clear everything until Glove gets 100% go mode. So Glove's in a really, really good position right now.
Yeah. Simo doing the same thing that Glove did, picking up that power bomb and not, thus far checking out Gauntlet. I think people who may, have put patterns together based on what I say in, commentary or chat, like I had a sound that seen that power bomb and like, thank you for this Gauntlet check, because yeah, especially if you know the map like we do, like when are you coming back?
Yeah, this is. Yeah, these kind of maps are actually some of my least favorite because, this is probably going to be something that could spark debate. But maps like these end up leading to one of two things happening. If you play it a certain way and your opponent plays it very similarly, then it's basically a micro fest. If you play it a different way and you get like a big divergence at some point near the beginning, like kind of what happened in that game 1 you were talking about earlier between me and Sloters and the 2021 SG Live thing, then literally like you're just giving up a huge edge for time to the opponent because of how the map is set up, but you can't know that before you check the portals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I will say that this was pretty early for us to know how divergent the map was, and as we can see, being that this is vanilla bosses, the only thing stopping Glove from finishing the game is Botswoon Hallway. She currently can't Crystal Flash clip because only 10 power bombs, but like very, very close to go mode, and even got those high jump boots for the comfort as we were in Lower Norfair.
Did we end up seeing the highway portal yet?
Back of East Meridia? No.
Correct. I wonder if it's just going to loop with Lower Norfair.
That would be, if that's the case, we would have, well, there's still several red tower checks and there's Croc and both wreck ships outstanding. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's a
that
good
is
point. Yeah.
possible. It's I mean, this not going to another boss area feels like it's not the favored outcome as far as like odds, but if it's Croc, probably doing this right when Glove did it was good because
Right.
um you'd rather get that out early. Well, yeah,
Hey, listen,
kind of
I'm
depends.
gonna be in before this is back of Lower Norfair, front of Lower Norfair, to back of wreck ship, to front of wreck ship, to Croc. It's all gonna be one ginormous dead end, then back to the secondary middle part of the map. Like, this has potential to be one of those really, really, really disgusting maps.
Things could definitely get interesting down here. The other thing that somehow just crossed my mind is I made the point about vanilla bosses. We are about to fight a charged phaser and only 15 super Ridley. Glove does have 65 missiles, which is a nice supplement, but you're gonna have to put up what, close to 5 supers worth of damage in charged phaser shots, which is quite a few shots.
Yeah, Glove having a little bit of a rough Lower Norfair so far, just in terms of getting hit a lot. It's not that big of a deal. But see, here's the issue. I'm confident in Glove's ability to play the game and fight Ridley, etc. However, this is going to be a little bit longer, a little bit more complex fight, just because you can't unload a gazillion supers on Ridley, and she might be feeling the pressure of time right now. But we both know that the best thing for her current situation would be to just completely farm up everything. And honestly, it kind of works out because she's going to be needing health anyway. So along the way of getting that health for her eventual acid dive, she's going to be getting super. So she's making the right decision. Just sit there, farm everything up, take care of business.
So Simo did the thing that Glove didn't, which is come up here and clean up Alpha Peeps. Just a missile, which really, really is unfortunate for the circumstance, as we are likely to get this pretty out of the way for Glove check. It could be, it could be Croc and it could really not matter. And basically, if it's anything else, Glove will probably find it from the other direction. Oh.
Well, my dream is still alive because we just saw the back of East Meridia. I wonder what's up here. What is left?
This is New Bridge. We saw, unless Simo maybe didn't do this from the other side. I wasn't paying quite close enough attention to their feet at the time. So yeah, your Lower Norfair to wreck ship to Crocomire dead end is very much alive, and then I think that might make the two lower right red tower portals connect to each other, which would be like the dumbest, really, really close self connection, but it is possible.
This is going to be a long Ridley fight, relatively speaking. Well, it's going to be long for Rando. Everybody gets so spoiled having a gazillion supers in almost every seed that the Ridley fight actually gets slept on a good bit. But yeah, this one's going to be a pretty extensive one when you compare it to the other ones.
And if Simo makes the same play Glove did after checking the tube, they're going to have an even longer fight because they're sitting at 25-10. And I'm curious to see where this goes for Glove, because I did talk about it a little bit, and then we talked about other things, and somewhere in there, Glove got a third power bomb. So, Crystal Flash Clip Go mode is what I would call this. This boss item I would expect to be checked, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. And then we'll see how she feels about both the portal over there and screw attack.
All right, Simo, nice job getting across the X-ray to the X-ray room there. Ooh, we got a spring ball for Glove.
I'm curious what Simo would not have picked up there. Probably an E-Tank.
No, I'd still pick that up because Glove's got to do the reverse acid, right?
No, Simo at X-ray is what I was talking about.
I'm sorry.
They scouted with the power bomb, and I'm like, what aren't you picking up there? Because I think you pick up a super. Honestly, you're only at 10. But
Simo just likes having extra decisions to make. Sema, why are you not picking up power bombs? Well, I guess they've got bombs, so never mind.
Yeah, and but you should pick that one up. You were about to check the tube, or you're not about to check the tube. Yeah, that you're one of the people that likes to point this out. Like, especially like we kind of use micro as like somewhat of a general catch-all, but like specifically if you're talking about micro, like ammo management is important in randomizer. Like, if you're used to running vanilla, like not only is it not as important because you always have bombs and things like that, but like mostly like the routes are like they're fleshed out, like thresholds that you have to hit. You just kind of farm. Like when you're freestyling it in a randomizer race, you do not know necessarily these things.
Glove making the choice, and maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention to the portals, but Glove making the choice not to acid dive here is really interesting. Okay, it looks like it's not going to matter as much because it looks like Simo just found the back of wrecked ship. So maybe Glove already knew that and I just missed it, and maybe Croc is at the front of Lower Norfair. But did y'all notice that Glove just got spring ball and refused to use it in Wasteland, or excuse me, in the Three Musketeers room? Instead, she did an X-ray stand up.
That was definitely something. I was curious which of these two checks that Simo did found this, and thankfully Glove picks it. So we were both in wreck ship, and yeah. Funny thing about wreck ship is like you're used to it being a power bomb required area, but that's just to get in. So like if you're an area seed, like bombs do everything in this place. So
wow.
Still not having
dude, this map
in the door on the other one. That's funny.
This map is so silly. Like so silly.
So Glove just actually made the most Galaxy Brain play because that just eliminated all the portals except for Ridley Mouth going to Croc. So
yeah, for sure. And I agree with Zeb. In retrospect, I think skipping the acid dive is actually a lot better since Glove did not know. I think, what was it, 3 portals worth or something, or 2? And I think it was that far to go back in.
I want to say it was like 4 total connections. So it was like both of the wreck ship, I'm counting those as 2, and then it was the back of East Meridia, which goes to the top of Red Tower, is 3, and then Ridley Mouth to Croc. So yeah, it was 4 total like connection points that she didn't know, which is 8 total doors.
We still haven't found the ice or speed booster that is logically required to get through Botwin's hallway. So technically that it could be, for example, that ice is at plasma and speed booster is over at screw attack. Like, we haven't eliminated the total wild, awful situation just yet. But so far, assuming that they find speed or ice relatively quickly, this is about as linear of a seed as you can possibly get for this. And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. Trust me, I love area a lot, but it's that whole illusion thing. Like, sometimes people talk about how great it is in terms of choices, but a lot of times it actually ends up being more linear than, not a lot of times, but there are times where it's just as linear, if not more linear, than vanilla map.
Yes, it very much can send you down these things. And yeah, with these, somewhat rare, but like, very distinct, like complete split map seeds, like, yeah, you have, like, I mean, we saw it in this race, like you had to go to the right and you had to do the stuff over there, and then you had to come to the left and do all this stuff over here. And like, we'll see what item checks go down. As far as like logically, the like worst thing is that like that speed ice that's logically required is in crate, and it wants you to like do that whole thing and then backtrack all the way to the left and do the stuff. But like I said, like Glove's just gonna crystal flash clip this if it gets dumb, and Simo probably the same if they can spike a power bomb pack, which presumably was pretty on path in Lower Norfair. And yeah, Simo does get screwed before Lower Norfair. We'll see if Glove even picks it up. A lot of people don't.
Screw is a wonderful item for Lower Norfair. After you do not need to go to Lower Norfair anymore, it's not that useful. I probably would have picked it up there, though, in Glove spot, just because it is still technically possible that the logic wants you to pick up ice or speed at screw attack. But I'm gonna go under the assumption that she will choose to crystal flash clip. Maybe that's the plan. Maybe she's just gonna sort of go all in on that.
Yeah. So yeah, Glove's map knowledge that doesn't exist is that upper red tower portal that she isolated by alpha power bombs, and then Simo doesn't know how to get into Lower Norfair, and then will should be able to suss out that the other side of Lower Norfair is Croc. And yeah, here's the tube check. So yeah, they both did one check in Wreck Ship and Peaced Out. Given just how much longer it is to do the whole Forgotten Highway thing, just to come out in literally the exact same place as the front end, the E-Tank skip doesn't surprise me. And like, people have been like singing the doom of Attic for quite some time at this point.
You know what's crazy? You know what I just realized, DJ?
What's that?
I like how you guys, the organizers, set this up. Just for the record, I have helped organize a bunch of tournaments, but I am not an organizer for this one. I'm just a participant. I really like how y'all set up the playoffs. However, I am slowly realizing that the fact that the team that is down 1-2 gets to pick game 4, and then game 5 can't be that mode, that might actually be a bigger advantage than being the team that gets to pick last. Because you basically have a chance if like 1 or 2 of the teams have like one mode they feel really confident about, you can basically ice them out of that mode. Now the flip side is it means you got to beat them. You got to beat another player at that, but that's a really interesting thing. I might actually prefer to be down 1-2 going into game 4 in the future.
Yeah, I mean, strategic elements, inside and outside of the game are always, fun to theorize about. We're gonna, as you said, there's a chance there was a meta thing going on here. There's a chance that Glove either likes this mode or thought that it was a good chance for her against Simo, and we're gonna have to see how things play out. And yeah, it's having some advantage down 1-2 does, I mean, playing fields are almost never like 100% even, right? But like, somewhat evening things out when like, yeah, you have a chance to pick a mode, but you do have to win 2 in a row with, you've used up all of your margin for error already. So
now you are 100% correct about that. And you got to be the goal of being a championship level team in League is being adaptable to multiple different modes. So my team is experiencing that in game 4. I got to be ready to play. If I get my tail kicked, then Zos is going to have to come out and play something else. But yeah, I really like it. The challenge and the competitive aspect of this is a lot of fun.
And yeah, we saw here Glove was close to going into Aqueduct and then decided not to, and then came all the way back to ship. I'm assuming it was just for the refill. Yeah, still not doing Gauntlet. There was Zeb very quickly or very pointedly pointing out in chat. If you're gonna crystal flash clip this, your ammo's gonna be down to 55-10, and we haven't seen eyes on speed or grapple, so like it's not the quickest Dragon fight. So yeah, we're gonna see how quickly Glove can get a crystal flash clip successfully completed, and that's the key for her towards the end of this seed. And Simo, has even showing off the changes to conserve a power bomb. That's heads up as well.
Did Glove save at the ship maybe?
Yeah, saved at the ship.
Okay. I was gonna say not saving here is a little risky, but
it's rather far away, but maybe she's just really confident in this.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm not saying I could guarantee that I would get it in what you get 4 tries or something like that, or you get 5 tries, I guess here. But at the same time, with bombs and gravity, it's a lot more likely. Got him. Nice job, Glove.
Second try. Very, very nice. Also, I said 55-10 for Dragon. I guess I should have said 55-10 for Botswoon. So,
The only thing
ooh,
I'm sad about is I wish that runners would have had to have this Ridley fight with Varia only. That would have been awesome.
ooh. I think she had supers to miss, but has missed them. So yeah, we're gonna see some charge shots right here. I have a feeling she knows what her damage output is currently and wants to use these supers at a better time. Or is just conserving them all for Dragon. That's also possible.
Once again, I mean, I've been saying this for years. Probably the single most important thing in Super Metroid Randomizer is the ability to be adaptable to a variety of types of seeds. Um, and Glove showing off why she's been a successful runner, especially recently in some of her tournaments.
All right. There's Spring Ball usage for you. Remembers it here in Meridia.
Hold on, I'm confused. Why is Glove gonna have issues with Dragon? This is like, as far as ammo goes, this is like very easy. Especially considering the fact that you can basically blow almost everything without even really having to worry too much about getting most of it back, because the only thing you have left to do is kill Kraid, and then Kraid's right next to Torian, and you get a free refill.
Yeah. Some people haven't done a 10-10 Dragon.
Right. Yeah, no, this is like super comfy as far as ammo kills go.
I mean, current ammo is more than the 6,000 health that Dragon has, right? Yeah, so just don't miss. And golden shower for fun. I always like to see those. So hit every super, that's good to see. Glove did not kill Kraid before the reset. There was a question in chat about that. Oh yeah, all that talk I said about the dumb logic chain. We knew it was an E-Tank from SEMO.
Correct, but it would have been really funny had it been like Ice Beam. Because, you know, now that they have gravity, they could have gone back to it. A Glove doesn't know what's there.
Right.
All right, that's the end of Dragon. Gotta assume Glove checks the item here. Probably gonna grab the stuff and then pick up the item. I'm gonna go with, let's go with Space Jump.
I mean, it would have to be Grapple or one of the two tanks left to not be good.
Ooh, Wave.
Wave was probably, I don't know, 4th or 5th on that list.
Wave not very strong, but you know, it's a little bit of an increase.
Yeah, so all Glove has to do is find our way back to West Meridia, which is as non-trivial as West Meridia can get, because it's 3 Norfair connectors, or no, it's 2 Norfair connectors, and then it's Criterion. So funny see the way this is all laid out.
It would have been really interesting to see how this would have played out had SEMO not taken that enormous risk at the beginning. Or I guess not at the very beginning, but kind of like the first critical juncture, because Glove has played well, but there's still a lot of things that could have happened that could have put SEMO back in the lead.
Yeah. And yeah, we don't know how different SEMO's decision tree may or may not have been without the 15-minute reset. Definitely, the ammo would have been different. I want to say Power Bomb is the only thing that wouldn't be, but yeah, I mean, you can't make that play without knowing that it's a risk. As far as, you know, whether that's a risk you're willing to take is It's a different story, and then in this it very much punished as harshly as it possibly could have. And Simo came down here, which surprises me. This isn't a major in these settings. Um, I mean, I guess wanted. I mean, the only thing you could have really wanted was more power bombs for Crystal Flash clip attempts, right? And got it. So. Oh, Simo wanted to farm power bombs. Didn't do what Glove did in ship refill.
Low ice special.
That makes more sense. Yeah. Simo was doing some low ice speedrunning before League started, I want to say. So, shout outs to low ice.
It's a good category. I think it does a lot of things to prepare you for a lot of scenarios that show up in Rando. I'm a big fan of being solid at all the different, like if you're going to speedrun Super Metroid, I'm a big fan of trying to be solid at all the different modes or all the different categories, because I think they all have things that translate into Randomizer really well.
Yeah. So we saw Glove do mode. This is definitely closer to the West Meridian portals here in Upper Norfair. So good decision there. We have even more farming for Simo, and yeah.
I think given the fact that the map is set up this way, and the fact that Glove still has to do Kraid, and that we're power bombing Torian, I think at this point, if you look at the time, I cannot imagine this being a sub-hour seed or a sub-hour finish for whoever wins. It's definitely not going to be sub-hour if Simo comes back to win somehow.
Yeah, I was looking ahead. I do know that runners and modes have been decided for the game 5. That's looking very likely in this matchup. They do not have a date set in stone yet. Maybe talking on the mic will put some pressure on Eddie to figure that out. I do believe it's Eddie versus Beef Robber will be the matchup, and the mode
they
is
running?
they're running MM Area Boss week 3.
Oh, baby. I'm excited for that. Gentlemen, y'all have a lot of practicing to do, because there are a lot of scenarios that come up in that.
Yeah, it's Simo's in this place trying to do this Crystal Flash clip. Hopefully can get it pretty quickly. That Powerbomb pack pickup coming in clutch right now.
Nice
There
job,
it is.
Emo. Let's go. Look at that low ice. Botwoon coming into effect. Very nice fight there, Simo.
Yep, that was a very fast and efficient 10 super kill. You definitely want to see that. Simo doesn't even want to pick up those power bombs, trying to save every frame. That fanfare would not be, useful to their current situation. And yeah, Glove gets the E-Tank reward for killing Kraid. And yeah, it's gonna be it for her pickups. We're gonna see a hop, skip, and a jump over to Turi, and then this is one of those things where, like, I would very much want, like, if we could have like some kind of thing set up where, like, we could like tap into like the runner's feed and they like had a mic on and we could like see what they were thinking, like what Gloves feels right now. I would be very fascinated to know, because like we can see like there were no catastrophes on Glove's side, which is probably the biggest distinguishing thing, but there were small parts that didn't go her way, and facing a very good runner, so you can't, you're not feeling like, I have this free in the bag at this point.
No, definitely not. No, if I was in Glove's situation in this exact moment, I'm not saying I'd be feeling like I was about to lose, but I would not be feeling like I definitely have this, right? So, but that's just kind of part of it. You just got to play. I know this is stating the obvious, but this is Super Metroid Randomizer. You, in terms of in the moment, you don't have anything you can do to impact your opponent. Now, whether they psych themselves out and play you a certain way, that can happen. But you don't have a direct, like nothing you do directly impacts them. So you just got to play your game and live with the result. Unfortunately, Simo, I think, forgot to turn off the screw attack. Maybe he was just, or excuse me, maybe they were just joking around in terms of when you have screw attack on, you can't get a like a pseudo screw damage on Dragon. So I don't know. I don't know if that was intentional or not.
That is that's knowledge that you definitely. I feel like you acquire that by like failing to do it. Like you have screw and you're like, why isn't there any damage? Because certainly not something I knew.
Yeah, you just hit the heart of it, D-Web. One of the most important things that you can do to get better at Super Metroid Randomizer is to fail a lot. And the best way to fail a lot is to play a ton of seeds.
All right, and Love handled those Powerbomb Metroids very well. The health is low, but there's a health refill down here, so just pop in there and fill them up. We'll see if she attempts a baby skip. Do have high jump and wave, so it's probably the comfiest non-standard item set for baby skip, but doesn't look like she much cares. Oh, even empties the reserve.
Not what I was expecting to see, but hey, all right.
Oh, this is like a pistachio attempt. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen that with just high jump. I've seen someone practicing that with no items, but never just high jump. So that was a nice attempt.
Well, we definitely have some players who have gotten a lot better at different ways to skip the baby. I am not one of those players. But there have been, even in this round, maybe even today, some folks who have pulled off some pretty impressive skips. But wasn't meant to be for Glove on that one. I know for sure Simo is able to do a lot of different skips, because I remember that they did that they attempted to do that against me in the semifinals of the multi. So yeah, but yeah, those skips are tough, very, very difficult.
They look cool too, and that's I think that's an important part of a game that if you're gonna sink hours and hours and days of practice and attempts and strategizing and talking, like having cool stylish stuff that's fun to pull off, it helps.
Yeah, Glove, by nature of not having the Ice Beam or the Speed Booster, will not be able to do a Zeb skip, cannot freeze these Rinkas, and will lose a significant portion of her ammo that she would have used, especially having a weaker beam. It's funny.
Yeah.
You know what this kind of reminds me of, DJ?
I know what you want to say, probably, but go ahead and tell people.
It's like an actual Mother Brain 2 fight. Who would have thought that something like that could be interesting? But yeah, this is a little bit dangerous. Glove had to take a good bit of damage, to get even to get to Mother Brain 2, because you're obviously going to get hit by Rinkas a good bit while you're trying to damage down the Zebs. But hopefully, it won't take too long. I mean, like, the fact that Spazer and Wave is there actually does a pretty decent chunk of damage. This isn't going to be like, a 3-minute, 200 shot fight like you would get in low ice. So it's not that bad, but it definitely is a lot longer than it would have been with all those supers.
Yeah, and I do not believe that Glove has saved in probably since the pre-East Meridia ship refill, and yeah, this is the place for popping that reserve unnecessarily. Hopefully it's not on her mind, because you're probably kicking yourself for wasting 100 free health on a Mother Brain where you only had what, 599 max.
Hey, listen, I'm just gonna tell you straight up, as the person in the league with probably, I would assume, maybe the second most low ice experience, just behind Zost, I'm really impressed with Glove's fight here. Glove, she has been in terms of just like the micro of handling the mother brain situations, she looks very comfortable. So far, really good job.
Yeah. Things I would say about Glove, one of the people who, I'm kind of a person who like tries to catch as many races as possible. Glove in there a lot of the times that I see, so like, very much attuned to the scene, very much, thinks about Randomizer a lot, plays Randomizer a lot. So, the fact that she was ready for this fight doesn't surprise me. The fact that she pulled it off extremely cleanly also doesn't surprise me.
That was very clean. Yeah, that was very impressive. Good job, Glove.
I'm happy if no one else is, Glove. Yeah, Mother Brain 2 is down. That's probably, there's not a lot of places where Catastrophe could still strike Glove at this point. And yeah, that will be 2 wins in the series for Superjump, both of them by Glove. Someone's going to have to pick up the slack and, see what they can do in Game 5, where, winner takes all.
Yeah, and now we get back into the sort of strategic part of the discussion, which again is it's my favorite part. Like, running the races is great. I think the strategy within the race is really interesting, but I also really enjoy sort of the macro of how you build your team and then how you choose people to run different modes, etc. And I gotta say that I got a lot of respect for Simo as a randomizer runner. However, in the scope of how to approach this race being up 2-1, sometimes people kind of get in this mode where they think, oh, our team's up, like, I can afford to play risky. I'm not a big fan of that. Like, Simo essentially, they didn't know it at the time. They didn't know it at the time, but they basically, like, handed a free win. Like, what I'm getting at is Glove didn't even really have to earn it. Like, handing somebody a free 5 to 10 minutes, I don't know how much it ended up being, but like that much time is a ton of time, right? So I would have preferred to have seen Simo play it a little bit more straightforward, but now they are going to be put to the test in a Game 5 situation where they don't get to actually run the mode that technically they wanted to begin with. So it's going to be really fascinating to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I do believe we may have gotten that Game 5 race scheduled in chat. I was seeing a little bit of back and forth. They were trying to figure things out. So that'll be fun. And yeah, one thing that I was gonna say, so like we said, the mode is major minor split, full area, boss shuffle. In that race, Beefy's the gravity suit of I only know the Superjump, so he's been all area all the time. And like you said, Eddie's been Chozo, vanilla map, boss shuffle, so both of them have some things in common with that mode and others, but like, being like very like warmed up and attuned to the area stuff could be an advantage on Beefy's side. I know, he's a very talented runner. Eddie has also shown, a lot of talent in this league, as you said, like newer runner to the rando scene and like, 1 seed in their division with, their 2 seed was no slouches, the 18 very, very tough. So
listen, I'll just be full transparency. I was talking with DJ prior to us going live, and I mentioned that I thought that Eddie was already probably the most dangerous power suit runner of anybody running power suit. So obviously, even though he's newer to the scene, he's gotten very good at it quickly, and it really rewards his speedrunning background. However, has he lost at all in this entire tournament?
Nope.
Well, I wouldn't want to be undefeated, potentially taking my very first loss in a Game 5 where it would knock my team out. So it's going to be a lot of pressure. Good luck, Eddie. But yes, GG to Glove. What's the official race time there?
Official race time is 1 hour, 2 minutes, 43 seconds. Good games to Glove, and yeah, putting the team on her back. She will not go quietly into the night.
Listen, criteria, I gotta respect it. That's my division, and they were second place in criteria. In fact, they were undefeated except for losing to my team twice, I think. So criteria represent.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, you had a very strong division with your team in there, and then Norfair was the division that got 3 teams into round 2. So No slouches either way. And like I mean, we said this once the playoffs started, everyone was good, and like we have that field, so people are even better. And about to hit a game 5 with two extremely. I mean, these teams had the same record, 12-2 in the regular season, right? Like,
Yeah, and I want to. Glove has just joined us, so GG Glove. I got to start with the most obvious question. You started this playoff off. You individually started this playoff off, declaring that the left side of the bracket, where my team is and some of the Brinstar teams are, was the killer death row part of the bracket, and that your side was just a free cakewalk. So how does it feel to demonstrate how free of a cakewalk it is to everybody by dominating this race?
I'm not sure that's quite what I said, but okay. Yeah, it's look, if Bullies beat us game 5, I think they're in the finals, like dead ass. And I think they have a pretty decent shot of winning. But like, no shade to either of the other two teams vying for semis of the right side of the bracket, but I think Bullies were the scariest team on this side, on the right side of the bracket, and it shows. I'm really happy that I was able to secure our team our 2 wins thus far, remain undefeated for this Rando League season thus far. And between last season and this season, I haven't lost a playoff game yet, so, trying to keep some streaks alive.
I think the only other person that can claim that is Zost, if I'm not mistaken.
Can he?
He is 6-0 so far in the playoffs in terms of last season and this season combined. Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
Glove Zost tier. You heard it here first.
That's more games than me. I'm 4-0 now. But yeah, going into this tournament, honestly, like, I just wanted to play SEMO. I was like, if I get to play SEMO this Rando League, I'm happy. They're someone who's definitely a close friend in the Rando and the Super Metroid community. And it frustrates me and sort of spurs me on that they've always been sort of one step ahead of me. So, really, really proud of this win, even though it seems like SEMO lost because they weren't a coward.
Well, I don't know about lost because of that, but it made the actual, final 45 plus minutes kind of, like something would have needed to have happened to have gotten them back into the race. But, all you can do is control what you do, right? So with that said, this was a really one of those kind of you don't see these kind of map layouts super frequently where it's like I call it a barbell because it's like 2 different places connected kind of in the middle by some stuff. So what'd you think about this scene and how you approached it?
So, okay, let me bring out my tracker again.
I've got mine too if you missing stuff out.
It was a funny seed. So first I was scared going through the whole seed because I spent like 5 kajillion years doing Ice Escape, and that was just extremely frustrating. And I try to just play my game, 100%, play the same way I would an async in a race, but it's very difficult to not have it in the back of my mind, hey, I'm behind. And in terms of item checks, I think I checked too much. I should have just gone. But let's see. So it was kind of funny. I never had to see the back of East Meridian. Never had to see the front of LN. That saves so much time. And I guess they both ended up being top of Red Tower and Croc.
Yeah, Croc was front of LN. So not doing that was huge. No, it was a thing we deduced. SEMO didn't do it either.
Oh, SEMO, yeah.
SEMO did the Red Tower.
Yeah. Seeing the top of Red Tower and leaving it there is terrifying. And it's such an awkward situation, right? Because it's you can do Alpha Peeps and check that portal, and you're giving up time on the elevator and stuff. You can also kind of bet on the other side of Green Brin will be nothing. And it ended up going back to Red Tower, at which point it's not unreasonable to go up Red Tower, but it just felt like going down first made more sense, and that gave me LN and Rex Ship, and by that point, I had enough knowledge to know that, like, I know where all the boss areas are, and I know, I know that the other side of East Meridia and the other side of LN are, like, nothing, so, like, I know there are no portals I can find that can really help me out, so it was kind of interesting. I guess maybe going to East Meridia. No, I don't think it would have been faster to go from the back. I think it's better to go through Greenburn so you can get to the front. But yeah, it's funny because I don't really feel like this is a bisected map necessarily.
Oh, it completely is.
Yeah, it's totally linear. Like, you basically are forced to do a bunch of stuff on one side of the map and then completely shift over to the left side of criteria to connect to everything else. It's just that the rest of the stuff loops together. But, you know, it probably maybe didn't feel that way. You had some options in the later part of the match, but in terms of, like, getting equipped on the right side and then moving to the left side, it was one of those ones that kind of featured that more heavily than others.
Okay, I guess it is. Yeah, because it's like the Upper Norfair, West Meridia, and Kraid, Turian is like one section of the map, and then Green Bryn, Red Bryn, LN, East Meridia, Rex Ship's the other. Okay.
And you can't do Western Meridia when you first see it. Like, you're not allowed to do it. You know what I'm saying? Until you do the left side. So, but anyway, it was an interesting map. I mean, this is one of the things I love about area. In fact, Glove, I would like for you to talk about. I think one thing you and I have in common is we both really like this combination. It's good too with ball shuffle, but I just think full area with Chozo is wonderful. Tell us a little bit about what you think about the mode in general.
Yeah, it's really fun. Like, I mean, I still think major minor boss area is kind of like the gold standard, but these are both the settings where I feel the most confident. So like, this was a great pick because, like, I feel the most confident on these settings, and I know that this is what, like, Eddie has basically been practicing the most.
Yeah, by the way, great job strategically, by the way.
So I was like, okay, I can take this from Eddie and be, like, pretty happy against Simo and not have to race something extremely boring like vanilla map stuff. I like some of the way, like, you're not following logic as much in the same way you are for vanilla map Chozo, but there's still some things you can deduce. I think it's just a really neat mode, and being able to spike stuff, and X-ray is really good. Like, being able to do X-ray deboost is really good, so that's already a plus. I was pretty happy to get my charge.
Yeah, gonna give a quick shout out. Simo finishes 1 hour, 10 minutes, 57 seconds. And yeah, with literally like full reset at like 15 and a half minutes, and, you know, only losing by 8 is commendable in and of itself.
Like, if you don't have to do that, I think that Simo is just going to beat me the vast majority of times, unfortunately.
We are joined by Simo. Simo, GG, tell us a little bit about your experience with the seed.
It was fun, and then I found Torian, and I got a little scared, and then I found Kraid, and I was like, oh, well, this better be only gravity. I considered just resetting right away, but I was like, what? Like, I guess I kind of just have to check what this is.
Yeah, at that point, you just kind of have to believe.
Yeah, and then I hadn't checked the croc portal, so I had to come back for that. And then that was, instead of just going right from power bombs out like the back. And then I mismanaged PBs a little bit. I should have grabbed some as I was leaving X-ray, so I like ended up going in the back of wrecked ship.
Oh no.
I was just like, well, this is just how I have to go, because, you know, the other portal could be something I can't go through, so I'm just going this way.
Oh.
That's a little bit more time lost that I don't think I would have taken, but
yeah.
In the end, my go mode was what, like PBs and fire fleets.
Yeah,
I think same. Yeah. I mismanaged PBs later and wasn't even thinking, and I was like, all right, I just have to go refill at ship now, which always feels really bad when you have to refill everything right before Crystal Flash Clip.
I went down a sand pit to refill on PBs and found an
Okay,
extra PB pack. It was 6.
that's sick. I
And
needed
a super
supers as
pack.
well, though. Oh,
It's
sick.
incredible.
Okay.
There's so few supers in the seed,
So you picked the sandpit that felt luckiest?
left sand pit.
Sick.
It's a good sand pit.
It's a good sandpit.
Okay, real quickly, I'm just going to interrupt you because I didn't see this on Glow side. So the logic here, as far as not doing Crystal Flash Clip, grapple at Wreck Ship, E Tank, Ice at Spring Ball, and I think speed was at Plasma. Is that right? Like
Speed was at plasma, yeah.
that
Wow.
is, that's just silly.
Yeah, but it's not fair because if they don't go straight to where the items are, it's not fair.
Yeah, it's true.
This is like the Crystal Flash Clip seed. Because doing all of that would have been not fun.
I was nervous for my CF clip. I missed it several times. I was like, man, better
Yeah,
not have to go farm up more PBs. It's
I
bad
was
enough already.
I was so thankful when I found bombs. Because I have done Sula CF clip in a race on 15 power bombs, but that's not something you can possibly feel good about.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's pretty spooky.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just. But yeah, like I had mentioned earlier, I spent a really long time trying to get ice escape. It was not happening for me. So I was really frustrated this whole seed, and
I messed it
trying
up
not
a
to feel like
little
I'm
bit,
behind.
but like not like an exceptionally long time. But
I had to reload
kept,
the room like 6 times or something. It
oh
was
no,
absurd.
I just fell into like the lava several times. I was like, oh, which still feels bad, but not as bad as a door transition.
Yeah, and well, like
Oh,
I didn't have any supers, so I couldn't super the left platform and be safe about it. So it was just, as a time. But
I struggled with Bubble Mountain a little bit the first time. I was trying to do like the wall jump, and I just kept messing it up, and I was sad.
hypo jump or the right side?
The right side.
Yeah, it
There's
took
not much
me a
reason to
bit
do
too.
hypo jump here unless you're just
Yeah,
really starved for that ammo.
I mean, I wouldn't do hypo jump for sure, but I was probably gonna go to Norfair Reserve if I didn't have power bombs after speed and wave. But like the odds of
Okay.
you not having power bombs at that point are astronomically low.
Yeah, it really felt like we're coming over there to get power bombs.
Mm-hmm.
Curious to watch back the beginning. I wasn't playing
Yeah.
great at first, and then after the reset, I was kind of flustered. But I kind of like settled into a rhythm. But at that point, I just have to hope you made the same mistake I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my Upper Norfair routing was a mess. Like I really wanted to avoid going Remembered Highway. But then like I ended up going back to Bubble Mountain, but then I checked Chronic Boost first and then went over to Croc, which was actually kind of a good thing because I mean I think I would have taken the Croc save either way, but this way I was definitely taking the Croc save so I could run back over to Chronic Boost, do the Red Fish room and see Turi and then see Kraid.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean I thought for too long, honestly, about doing Kraid, but you can't expect exactly gravity there.
Oh, you
For like a
skipped on the
multiple minute.
grade? You
Yeah,
skipped
I
on
did.
the grade? Wow.
It's like a multiple minute investment where you just lose that time unless it's exactly gravity.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Sorry, I'm a coward.
Didn't want
So-
that E-tank?
I didn't want it later too, and then I had to be really scared because
Glove,
I
do have one more.
accidentally popped reserve, damaging down on the side hopper before the baby. In case I didn't get the Stachio skip that I didn't get, by the way. I was a bit frustrated about that.
It's a good reason or a good news that you didn't need that reserve tank at all because you were
Yeah.
God mode on Mother Brain 2. Although I'm sure you would have been more comfortable with it. But Glove, I do have one more quick specific question for you.
Sure.
it says happy birthday, Simo, in the top right of your screen. Just a quick question. I definitely remember seeing the flag and the and Kirby there the whole race, but was happy birthday, Simo, up there the whole time?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
It was there my
I want to
last
thank
race
you
too.
for doing that because nobody in chat complained about it at all, the happy birthday, Simo, which lets me know that the next step that we're taking in Dash, like we're currently working on some full countdown like area stuff, and we've completely removed the map and replaced it with information for the player. So this is proof, since nobody in the audience complained, this is proof that we don't need the mini map. I just want to thank you personally for proving that to everybody.
Sick. I like that so much better than the blue E-tanks. I really don't like the blue E-tanks.
Yeah.
The way full countdown works now, where I never know what my max health is. Just you eat the map right out. That sounds sick.
But anyway,
look at
yeah.
the map, just pause.
But this
Yeah,
was
there you go.
an excellent race. Like I was really hyped to not only call this one because the two of y'all being really, really great players, and also this is a fantastic matchup in terms of the teams. I'm sort of selfishly excited that it's going to Game 5 because you love to see as many of the good races as possible. So yeah, this was really fun. But yeah, Simo, any kind of final? I wanted to get your perspective too on the mode, Chozo full area. You know, I really like it a lot. What's your take on the mode as in general?
I think it's a pretty fun mode. Like there's some clear priorities when you're doing this kind of mode. Like in general, you're looking for like Green Bryn and Red Tower and Upper Norfair, and it's specifically like the left side of Upper Norfair too, like Business Center. That's kind of a priority. It tends to be really fast, like you'd see in like not as fast as vanilla area Chozo, but like there isn't a lot of room for mistakes in this mode. Like just because of the restraint that the Chozo kind of puts on it. And it makes it pretty fun to race. Like I've been doing well in all my practice seeds. So it feels bad to lose this one, but it's all right.
The key to practice is to make every single mistake possible. That way there's none left for the race. That's how you got to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you both. This was a very fun interview, very insightful, and you too. We said multiple times, very good Rando players, very, active in the community, in the chat, thinking about stuff. And I want to give a shout out that we were putting some pressure on him, and between us realizing that Game 5 was pretty likely, and now Eddie and B-Frog are scheduled for 3 hours after Kip's race on Wednesday, 11 p.m. Eastern.
Let's go. 3 hours after what Mega Man 2 said that Bressingham is guaranteed to beat me. So 3 hours after that, and then the next day will be our Game 5 between Zost and Mega Man 2. So just letting everybody know what the schedule is.
But yeah, I'm gonna shout out everyone at Speed Gaming who helps us put these on. Shout out to tracker extraordinaire Jester Zooks, who's always in here doing the tracking for us. And again, shout out to our runners. Shout outs to my co-commentator Kip, one of the best in the business, both on the mic and on the controller. So yeah, this was fun. I'm gonna say good games to both of you again, and let Kip take us out.
Yeah, Simo, Glove, just anything else you guys would like to mention before we head out here?
I have full confidence in Eddie. Thanks for helping set this up.
Well, I have full confidence in Beefy. Really glad this went to a Game 5. And I believe Beefy can bring it home. Thanks y'all for comms. Thanks Jestro for tracking. Thanks Speed Gaming for setup and admins and all that. And hope this isn't my last post-race interview.
Well, thank you to both of you very much. And unless something changes beforehand, we will see you guys on Wednesday for I believe 2 really great races, hopefully, and especially looking forward to that Game 5 to see definitively who makes it into the next round. So, guys, have an excellent evening, or I guess morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and we will see you next mission.